What's up, everybody? Evan J. Thomas here with Sound Fury Magazine. I got him, Eric Stenman, guitarist of Barbarians of California, one of the hottest bands out there now, one of my favorite new live bands to see. Eric, what is going on with you?
I'm having a good morning here, and it's good to be chatting.
It is completely dark here in Chicago. We just got like storms like crazy. So hopefully we don't lose power. I don't think we will, but it's like 100 degrees here today and it's fucking nuts. So
100 degrees and storming.
100 degrees and storming. So when we walk outside later, it's going to be swamp ass all day long.
Oh no, it's we have the glorious California sun shining
See
in through the
that?
window over here. It's a little warm, but it's very nice here, so I'll appreciate it.
So what all have you been doing since the last time I saw you? I saw you at Happens Fest or hashtag Happens back at late February in Vegas. You guys put on an amazing set, which was unbelievable. And since then, you announced a new album and a new tour. So how are you handling all this? Obviously, you've been doing it for 2 years now with the band, but how are you taking it all?
I'm appreciating every moment, or at least I'm really trying to soak it all in. Yeah, so back in when you saw us in February, we would have still been going full steam ahead to finish the record,
Mm-hmm.
and since then, we've been doing this thing where if a song's done, we will release it to streaming, building up to a full length. We did it with the first record. Now we've been doing it with the second. And it's that's the fun side of the new music business, is that you don't have to put it in the, into the queue and wait 6 or 8 months for your record label to get it out and get it shipped to stores and everything. It can be pretty immediate now. But it still is fun to create an album, and have it exist in the physical world on vinyl and CD, etc. So yeah, since February we've just been going full steam ahead. Maybe a couple shows in there, but mainly just finishing the record. And here we are on the eve.
So looking at doing records compared to just doing singles or EPs, especially in 2026, I'm seeing a lot of really well established bands doing the vinyls and the CDs again. How do you see that playing out in the next few years? Do you see a resurgence of physical media? As you see, I have physical media behind me with my magazine. So how do
Yeah,
you see it going?
I am old enough to, maybe the young kids do, but I really appreciate the physical, right? And
Yep.
starting this band, nothing was guaranteed. We thought it might be a song, a few songs, maybe it would be an EP. And then, we bounced all the ideas around and thought, is it worth making the album, releasing the traditional 10, 12 song album? And once we did it, we realized, yes, it really is an important step. And I think especially for a newer band, to release an album or two, maybe after that you can get cute and do whatever strategy you want. But I think it makes something real to have a collection of songs that create an album, and then especially to have the physical copies. And I mean, I can safely say we sell more vinyl than T-shirts. So vinyl, it's a real thing. And we haven't made it to the cassette world yet, but the CDs have done well, and so it's fun to see that, and it feels like I'm 16 again.
That's awesome. And I know for sure, I know somebody that's going to put you in a magazine soon too. So
Yeah,
just to
I
let you
hey,
know,
I still have boxes of magazines
so
stored
do I.
somewhere in my house. Like I was a huge newsstand fan. I loved going down to a newsstand that had all the like import music magazines along with the US stuff. And I miss those days. I'm very nostalgic for Tower Records. I
Oh,
spent a lot of time in the magazine section of Tower Records trying to find the next band, that I would buy. And if I had 12 bucks, I'd go next door to the Tower Records and try to buy the CD or the vinyl of the research I had done, based on the research I had done over in the magazine section. So my heart, in many ways yearns for those days. And, the internet's a beautiful thing and you can access so much so instantaneously. But I miss a physical magazine with, nice glossy photos, etc.
now this is something I actually posted last week. So I brought up the idea of, how like back in the day with iTunes, you only heard like a 20-second snippet of a song. So if you like that 20-second snippet, then you would get the physical copy. And then later you could release the digital. What do you think that type of idea to kind of go forward rather than giving it all away right there at the beginning with digital and then just kind of building it off of physical releases and then digital?
Well, bottle, and But yeah, that's funny. I'd forgotten that was true, right? With
Yeah,
iTunes, when you would buy the 99-cent song, you could do a preview only. That had slipped my mind, and see, because I
and
think,
now same thing. That's why I brought it up because
yeah,
I posted it on Facebook and a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, that's right." And somebody actually brought that up to me, the 20-second clip, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's right."
I
So
think that era, I was still a physical guy. I was still buying CDs. I never really got into the 99-cent song download. I have plenty of friends who did, including Aaron Bruno, my bandmate in this, our singer. I remember every Friday he would check the new releases on the iTunes music store, and he would make some purchases because he liked the download, the instant delivery. I was still being stubborn, and anything I wanted, I'd buy the CD.
so you kind of just went that. But what do you think of that idea? Just kind of releasing physical first and then going to digital.
Well, it's the Wild West, right? Like any of us could try something like that, and it would be kind of the polar opposite of what the standard release model is now. But there's something cool, and the right artist could do that and really revolutionize things, right? Any of these bigger names, they have the
Exactly.
luxury to play those games with their crowd, right? And that would be kind of fun to see. And what if a huge band did a Bandcamp only release, or something along those lines?
I've
Or
actually seen it, but not by a big band. It's
and I've
usually somebody smaller.
and I've heard of people, having the idea of their own streaming service, right? And did Kanye do that? I'm not sure if he ever actually did. He may have done it for one record, and I don't know if he had the infrastructure to make it happen. But whatever, we're in a new world, and everything will change. I tell my kids this, and I've talked to friends about, we thought MySpace would be here forever, right? Like, so what's the next Spotify? What's the next YouTube? Like, there's going to
Exactly.
be something to exist that we don't even know about yet. And especially once we get into VR and AI, and who knows where the musical landscape's going to look in 10, 20 years.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy just thinking about just even in the last 10 years with how everything has gone to digital and now AI, like you just said. I just saw something where the drummer of Slipknot started his own band and did a fucking AI video, and he's totally engaged in it. It's like, okay, he's the first big name to be like, fuck this, I'm doing AI.
Well,
So
hey,
I'm gonna
we've
use
dabbled in it. We've dabbled in a couple of visuals, or like I don't know how to use AI. I'll admit that, but friends of ours, when it comes to a video, video for a song, we've dabbled in it, and we've gotten some hate for it,
for
and we're
sure.
not leaning on it, and we're not making it the center point, and we're not creating our music with it. But it is an interesting line to walk, where we're still at the early stages, where there's definitely a big audience of people that reject anything AI, even if you're using it as a tool to just, advance a certain element of a visual, which, it's been
Exactly.
interesting to kind of see in the comment section, see the back and forth between people saying, hey, get over it. These guys are a rock band and they're just trying to pull a video together. And other people saying, I won't touch anything that has to do with AI, so.
See, and looking at the way AI is now, it kind of is an extension of like Adobe After
Yeah.
Effects. So to
Well,
me,
yeah,
it's already there.
that's
So
what I think too. Like, as it almost seems unavoidable to start to use AI, because before you would have just toiled and toiled to illustrate or to compile images, where now you can maybe generate that quicker. And look, I know people are doing that in music. I'm not there yet, and I don't really have an interest in it, but I also note that that's coming, and that it'll, I would imagine not too long from now, it'll be more of a rarity that AI wasn't used in some capacity
mhm.
with the creation of music, and especially in the visual world.
And the way I look at it too, every industry except for the arts is embracing it like you wouldn't believe. So it's
Yeah.
like, I understand, yes, art should still be made by people, but again, there's digital art. So is that made
Yeah.
by people? Kind of, but
Yeah,
no.
and me as a studio engineer and producer, I can take a drummer that's not very good and make him sound quite good, and that's me being the AI, right? I can edit
Exactly.
each hit and make it consistent on time, on volume, on velocity. So same thing with a film editor, a photo editor. We've just been the human AI
Yeah.
component, right? Working with the tools we have, and so now it's just going to speed up and take new forms.
Yeah, you just prompt it and then you find ways to work around it. Now, I've been watching and listening to the new song. Really, really rad. Fucking banger. Everything that you guys have released so far, I absolutely love. But the videos are like over the top, fucking hilarious. You guys must have a blast just like making these because they're so dumb, so great, and just easy thought up ideas.
Yeah, look, we're wondering when the time comes where we run out of that next idea, but thus far they've been very fun, and we hope people know we shoot these things in about an hour and a half, and
I
then
was gonna say it can't be too long.
um, we're very fortunate to have a guy named Justin Warren, who's basically the sixth member of the Barbarians. He's our videographer, all things visual, and he obviously then has to go home and edit through everything and make it turn into something real. But yeah, it goes along with the lyric um, tonalities of the music are there's definitely sarcasm, tongue in cheek, and we've just carried that even further probably in the visuals. And making a music video, especially later in our lives, like we don't have any interest in being the super serious in the dark room staring into the camera wantingly. We're just like, no, let's get roller blades, which I'd never ridden before this
Okay, I was
music
gonna
video.
ask if you've ever actually done that because you look very interesting with the guitar.
Interesting. That's a nice way of putting
You
it.
look
No,
like because I'm
I'm
like, okay,
very,
if he wipes out and fucks up the guitar, his knees or his hand,
yeah,
those
no, I drove home from Zuma Beach very feeling very relieved to have survived in one piece because that could have gone any which way. So yeah, it was whatever. Yeah, and then there's the bomb to a knife fight video, which starts with me in black and white riding a motorcycle with what's hopefully an obvious
yeah,
green
like
screen,
yep.
and Aaron, our singer, said, "I hope people don't think you think you're that cool." And I said, "I certainly don't think I'm that cool," and I think it comes across that it's all still in keeping with the overall the themes we got going here.
Yeah, and just to kind of play off of what Aaron did with AWOL Nation and what you're doing with the Barbarians of California, if somebody who's never heard your music says, "Oh, the lead singer of AWOL Nation's now starting this band," what is the song you would hand to them that you guys have done and be like, "Yeah, we're not that band, we're this." And what would you throw at them to be like, "Just listen to this, it's totally different."
I mean, one that comes to mind that the first song we ever released is called Dopamine Prophecy. I still think that's a great intro to the band. I think over the course of the song, it's got a couple tempo changes. It's got a big guitar lead at the end. It sets the tone really maybe for the whole experience. For the new album, I mean, Bomb to a Knife Fight's really been received well. That's been a real fun one to have created in the studio. You never know what it's going to be like once you release it into the world and it's not yours anymore. But seeing people gravitate towards that one, maybe that's also a good introduction. Or you could get into something like really really rad has the synth dance outro, which people have said, oh, there's the AWOL Nation DNA in there. So like maybe that's a bridge between the two.
And being at a live show of yours, which I've been at twice. I've been at a festival and I've been at a freaking club show. The club show in Vegas was insane. Obviously, playing at like 12:30 in the afternoon at Riot Fest is a different vibe because people don't really know who you are. With those two different climates of just being out there, what do you think that these people that come to see you for the first time just kind of sit back and like look at you, but then obviously when they become a fan, they're all engaged. So how do you make that connection when you're on stage with people that either have never seen you or absolutely love you?
Well, I'm very fortunate to have Aaron as our front man. He's a great leader, and he's a great focal point. Yeah, having never seen us before, you see us come onto stage, he's going to try to wrangle you, no matter what, whether you know what's going on or not. I'm lucky I get to kind of be the nerd in the corner that just, tries to glue the songs together musically. But we love the challenge. I mean, definitely we feel more at home probably in a club setting. The barrier being
Yeah.
in between the stage and the crowd always makes it feel a little bit more like a video game. We're getting used to both. I mean, the rest of the band has been playing music basically nonstop. I had a 22-year break from when I was in bands in the early 2000s, went solely into studio work, and then now I'm hitting the stages again, right? So, but yeah, we played Warp Tour, we did Riot Fest, we did the arena tour with Deftones, and so we have our experience. We probably played more shows with a barrier and the distance between the crowd, but it can't really replace that. People leaning up against the front monitors, right in your face, instant feedback. It's hey, we welcome all challenges and opportunities, but yeah, the Sweaty Rock Club is definitely probably our home.
And one of the most massive mosh pits I've ever seen at a radio engaged event.
Very
Where it was
cool.
like corporate people. So
Yeah.
that was the best part. I was even a part of the mosh pit at one point in Vegas, which was
Cheers.
absolutely insane. So yeah, that was great. So you guys are looking to have this album Megatons coming out on August 21st. And every album does kind of have a snapshot of where you're at the moment with the band. So what are you portraying on this new album on where you guys are at in 2026 compared to where you were 2 years ago?
Yeah, good question. I guess overall, maybe we went more into metal, maybe a little bit. We've never had a genre that we could easily be labeled in. I guess the go-to would be hardcore, but we're definitely not just a hardcore band. But I would say we probably went even a little slower and heavier on the second record. People ask me, okay, hey, your new record's out. Do you like this one better? Is it better? And I say, I need 5 years of hindsight, right? I think everything can be judged once it's a little further in the rear view. I'm very proud of the new record. I'm still very proud of the first record, and I think they work together. I think it still sounds like a cohesive thing. But yeah, it's very fun to have this full collection now that's on the eve of being out in the world, and it's not ours anymore once that happens, right? It's everyone else to make their determinations on how they accept it, but it's still having a lot of fun with every part of the process.
And being that you've had the 2 albums now and you just said it's cohesive, what if you totally took a different realm in like the next one? I mean,
Anything's possible, right? Like,
I was gonna say,
yeah, we don't really have it's very different starting a band when you're 22 and like kind of looking at the whole rest of your life with this is the possible case in point, Deftones. Those guys have been in a band together since their late teens, right? And I played some of my first shows with them when they were playing some of their first shows, and I can't really imagine being with those same guys that in those same garages that we all started in. So everything's different now. Like, we just kind of take every day as a blessing and make the most of it. But we don't have the expectation that, the whole trajectory of the rest of our lives are based on the success or failure of this project. It's more like we'll ride it till the wheels fall off or until it's not fun anymore,
and I was gonna say too, do you guys have a 5-year plan? Like, are you looking for bigger tours, bigger festivals, more records? Like, what is there something you're chasing with this band that you haven't attained yet?
Look, I'd love to just, like I said, as long as the music feels rewarding, I want to keep making music. I want to play in Japan. I love Japan, and I'd love to make it into some markets that are more far-reaching. I'd love to play the Metro in Chicago. The Metro is perhaps my favorite club that I've ever been to. And legacy
It's
that
an
comes with the
amazing
Metro.
place.
So I have little bucket list items, but at the same time, if this all ended today, I'd be so proud and have had so much fun just getting to this point. But yeah, I think we'll always be strategic with touring. I don't think this will ever be the type of band that tours 8 months out of the year. And hey, stranger things have happened, but I think we'll try to pick and choose our choices. But at the same time, we hate saying no, and we've had these amazing opportunities that we've been blessed with, and luckily we found a way to say yes.
And looking how you were saying, a few moments ago, how you guys are not 22 years old. You guys are touring and doing all this in your not even later years, but you know what I mean by that. But what has been the funniest, weirdest, or most unforgettable moment that you guys have shared on the road so far?
I mean, one thing I was really struck by is, so we were so fortunate. Our first tour we ever did, we're opening arenas for Deftones, right?
Yep, I remember
And
that.
the first show was in Vancouver, and we got there, like everything just kind of came together very last minute. We made it onto stage, we started playing, and for whatever reason that night, more than most of the others, the crowd was pretty well lit and I could see the faces. And Deftones have been around 30, 35 years, whatever. So, you could walk in sometimes when you're the opener for a band that has that kind of history, you could be faced with a bunch of guys in the back doing this, like, get over, get this off stage, give me the hits from Deftones, right? Instead, they had such an amazing, young, energetic crowd that I'm looking out on those faces, and when the lights would come up, I'm seeing 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Some of them, they're with their parent. It's like a generational Deftones fan base that's there, and they welcomed us. It was just an amazing tour, an amazing way to hit a bunch of these cities that this band was very unknown in. And so that's a moment, especially that first show. The fact that we got there, we made it happen, and I'm seeing 17-year-olds, younger than even like our headlining show, audiences for the most part.
And it's funny you say that because I was just at Summer of '99 last weekend covering that. So seeing the different generations, seeing Limp Bizkit and Cypress Hill and
Yeah.
Seven Dust and Creed and Bush, it's like, whoa, it was a big range of ages, that's for sure right there. What do you guys have coming up in terms of touring? Obviously, you're going to be hitting the tour. I know you're going to be in Chicago. I think it's September 17th at Cobra Lounge. Where else are you hitting, and like, what are you excited to see?
Yeah, so our next show is a one-off. We've been lucky enough to get 3 shows with Guns N' Roses, so we're doing.
I saw that too. So that holy shit.
We're gonna fly in and out of Kansas City in a couple weeks for a one-off with Guns. That happens 2 days before our record comes out, and then about a week after the record comes out, we do the Rocklahoma Festival into a bunch of headlining shows, which we're really excited about, club shows. And then another center point as another Guns N' Roses show, followed by more headlining shows, ending with the Louder Than Life Festival. So we have 2 really cool festivals in which we will get to play with Slayer and Limp Bizkit. So look at that. And then
that is going to be amazing.
Yeah, but then it's going to be really fun to take this into both some cities we hit with Deftones, but now we'll be on our own in clubs, and then a couple places like Nashville and Omaha, and cities we never played in yet. Proud to say Chicago sold out. St. Louis is doing really well. I think Milwaukee and Minneapolis. So it'll be cool to get out there on our own and see what's real and what's not.
I might have to hit both Chicago and the Milwaukee shows.
There you go. It's not that far, right?
Actually going to Milwaukee's time-wise with traffic is actually easier to get than Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Trust
crazy.
me, as an LA resident, I know the struggle. Sometimes it's easier to go out of town than into town.
That's what I always say. And then obviously you have the new record coming out on August 21st, Megatons. Obviously it's going to be streaming everywhere. You have the vinyl version. Do you have a CD version?
We have a CD version. We don't have a cassette yet. We haven't gotten that hip yet, but we'll see.
I figured you guys would be on the cutting edge of that part.
It's been discussed, and that day may come. I still think they're pretty funny, and I still would love to get the honest assessment of how many people have ever pushed play on one of those cassettes. But it's a cool.
I would get it just to get it because my little what is that? The Target brand record player that has digital CD and also tape. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I just hate rewinding it and trying to find fucking songs. You basically just have to play it through like a vinyl, but obviously the vinyl you could just pick up and drop.
Yeah, that was the struggle, and then rewinding, to start over. Oh boy, yeah, we lived through those days, and maybe some people romanticize them. I'm fine to move on.
That I do not.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that I'm like, that could stay away. Everything else is good. So
I do wish, there was a day in which I just got rid of my whole, my boxes of cassette collection. I do wish I would have saved the top 25 now just to unfold. Remember unfolding the lyric sheet, and some of them went way out.
I sold all my CDs about 3 years ago, made actually pretty good money on them. But now looking back, I'm like, maybe I could have saved some more. The ones that were autographed, I never got rid of. I still have those. So I was like very happy with that.
For better or worse, I have 3,000 CDs in my garage that I haven't parted with.
At one point, I was probably there, and I had like 2 bins of shit that I brought over to this record store, and they're like, yeah, we'll buy them. Here's the price. I'm like, okay, take it.
No, I parted with some, but the vast majority I've kept and with no plan, and probably drives my wife crazy still that this huge corner of our very small property has that many CDs in it. But
well, Eric, it's been awesome seeing you again, having you on the show, and then obviously I'll be seeing you at some point in the next few months. But man, I cannot wait for that record. But make sure you guys check it out. His Megatons coming out August 21st. Their brand new song, Really, Really Rad. Check out the Really, Really Rad video. It's awesome. You'll laugh because I do. Just seeing Eric on freaking, rollerblades playing guitar is awesome.
Well, hey, and the last 5 seconds will, maybe my swan song, the last 5 seconds of that video. If anyone makes it to the end, they'll get to see what I'm talking about. So.
There you go. So, Eric, thank you once again.
Thank you.
That is, again, the Barbarians of California.